today's lesson of Adolescent Psychology, we will be discussing changes in the adolescent brain, adolescent sleep patterns, nutrition, health and exercise. The main objectives in this lesson are to understand what are the changes in the adolescent brain or cognitive development, the sleep patterns in adolescence, and importance of nutrition, health and exercise in an adolescent's life. Introduction. In our previous discussions, we have discussed in length about adolescence and puberty. We have also discussed their meaning and definition along with the changes that occur during the developmental stage. The changes include biological, social and psychological as well. In today's session, let us focus on the health aspect of adolescent stage and understand how health, sleep and cognition play an important role in an adolescent's life. As recently as 30 years ago, it was thought that human brain development was finalized by early childhood. In the past 20 years, however, neuroimaging techniques have allowed researchers to study how the brain changes across the life course, and there is no doubt that the brain changes a great deal during adolescence. Researchers are now able to study the adolescent brain using both magnetic resonance imaging (MRI), which provides an image of brain structure, and functional magnetic resonance imaging (fMRI), which provides a picture of metabolic function under specific circumstances. As discussed in earlier sessions, researchers have known for some time that the brain overproduces grey matter from development in the womb to about the age of 3 years. It is highly plastic and thus shaped by experience and goes through a pruning process. The neural connections or synapses that get exercised are retained during pruning, whereas the ones that are not exercised are eliminated. Brain research suggests that the adolescent brain undergoes another period of overproduction of grey matter just prior to puberty, peaking at about 11 years of age for girls and 12 years for boys, followed by another round of pruning. This process, like the infants, is also affected by the individual's interactions with the outside world. The pruning process just described allows the brain to be more efficient to change in response to environmental demands. And facilitates improved integration of brain activities. Recent research also indicates that pruning occurs in some parts of the brain earlier than in others. In general, processing from the back to the front part of the brain, with the frontal lobes among the latest to show the structural changes. The frontal lobes are the key players in executive functions of planning, working, memory and impulse control, and the latest research indicates that they are not fully developed until the mid-20s. A researcher named Spolowski in 2017 argues that nothing can be understood about adolescence without understanding the delayed development of the frontal cortex. As the synapses are pruned throughout adolescence, axons are myelinated or coated with the whitish fatty substance, a process that allows neurons to communicate in a more rapid and coordinated fashion. In addition, the adolescent brain is bombarded with gonadal hormones. There is a lot going on in the adolescent brain. The frontal cortex is the last brain region to mature. Its development is less influenced by genes and more influenced by the experience than other brain regions. This cognitive development has an impact on the biophysical aspect of the teenager. This connection allows the child to experience puberty and then enter the developmental stage of adolescence. In a nutshell, puberty is marked by both social and biological processes. Biologically, puberty is occurring over a period of time during which neuroendocrine changes or the release of hormones results in the maturation of primary and secondary characteristics that result in maturity of the reproductive system. Even though each adolescent experiences puberty and pubertal changes at different timings, this maturation depends upon a combination of genetic and environmental influences, which includes early life experiences. Socially, these pubertal changes lead up to how the adolescent perceive themselves and how they are treated by others. And early pubertal timing especially has been shown to have social consequences. While we know a great deal about the biological processes of puberty, much of the research, particularly on the role of adverse early experiences, is based on studies of girls rather than boys. Thus, it is important to monitor whether or not conclusions drawn from the extant research are relevant for both boys and girls. Despite this limitation, research on associations between stress exposure and pubertal timings and tempo makes clear the importance of early experiences and highlights the role of social determinants of health. Stressful living conditions are related to earlier pubertal timing and accelerated pubertal tempo. While early puberty may be an evolutionary adaptive response to context that reflects neurobiological plasticity, there are important consequences that suggest it may not be adaptive in terms of supporting a long-term path to health and well-being for the youth living in the 21st century. Structural changes that disrupt the systematic factors that increase risk for early puberty, for example, resource deprivation, as well as supportive relationships, can lessen the risk associated with early puberty, can foster positive outcomes, and may promote adolescents' capability for resilience. You might get some questions in your mind, such as, why might adolescence be a critical stage in health? What symbolizes emerging adults' health? What are some concerns about adolescents' eating habits? How much do adolescents exercise, and what role do exercise have in their lives? Do adolescents get enough sleep? These are among the questions we explore in this section. Adolescence is a critical juncture in the adoption of behaviors that are relevant to health. Many of the behaviors that are linked to poor health habits and early death in adults begin during adolescence. Conversely, the early formation of healthy behavior patterns such as regular exercise and a preference for foods low in fat and cholesterol not only has immediate health benefits but helps in adulthood to delay or prevent disability and mortality from heart disease, stroke, diabetes and cancer. Many health experts conclude that improving adolescents' health involves far more than taking them to the doctor's office when they are sick. Increasingly, experts recognize that whether or not adolescents develop health problems depends primarily on their behavior. These experts' goals are 1. To reduce adolescents' health compromising behavior such as drug use, violence, unprotected sexual intercourse and dangerous driving, and 2. To increase adolescents' health enhancing behaviors such as exercising, eating nutritious foods, wearing seat belts and getting adequate sleep. One study found that the following activities, resources and relationships were effective in promoting adolescents' health enhancing behaviors. It includes participation in school related organized activities such as sports, availability of positive community resources such as boys and girls clubs and volunteering, secure attachment to parents. In this study, health enhancing behavior was assessed by asking adolescents the extent to which they engaged in behaviors such as wearing a seat belt and participating in physical activities in and out of school. Now, let us discuss the importance of nutrition, exercise and sleep in an adolescent's life. Nutrition, exercise and sleep. At any stage along the life course, the right balance of nutrition, exercise and sleep is important. As the transition from childhood to adulthood begins, early adolescent bodies undergo significant biological changes from their brains to the hair follicles on their legs and everywhere in between. Yet, it appears that few adolescents maintain a healthy balance during their time in adolescent flux. In many parts of the world, adolescents simply cannot get an access to an adequate diet, resulting in high levels of anemia and youth who are underweight and overweight. In economically advanced nations, there is enough to eat, but adolescents often do not have a satisfactory diet to support the growth spurt and development. Let us discuss about nutrition. Nutrition is an important aspect of health compromising and health enhancing behaviors. The eating habits of many adolescents are health compromising, and an increasing number of adolescents have an eating disorder. A comparison of adolescents in 28 countries found that US and British adolescents were more likely to eat fried food and less likely to eat fruits and vegetables than adolescents in most other countries that were studied. This was done by the World Health Organization in 2000. Concern is often expressed over adolescents' tendency to eat between meals. However, their choice of foods is much more important than the time or place of eating. Fresh vegetables and fruits as well as whole grain products are needed to complement the foods adolescents commonly choose, which tend to be high in protein and energy value. A research review found that these two family factors were linked to increased fruit and vegetable consumption by adolescents, availability of fruits and vegetables in the home, and consumption of fruits and vegetables by parents. And one study revealed that eating regularly with family or family meals during early adolescence was linked to healthy eating habits 5 years later. Thus, parents play an important role in adolescents' nutrition through the food choices they make available to adolescents by serving them as models for healthy or unhealthy nutrition and by including adolescents in regular family meals. More frequent family meals are linked to a number of positive outcomes for adolescents. It includes better dietary intake, lower substance use, and better academic success. A recent study found that family meal frequency for adolescents remained relatively constant. Another recent study found that adolescent girls whose families functioned effectively, that is, getting along well together, confiding in each other, and effective planning of family activities, for example, swimming, playing, and other activities, where the girls were more likely to eat meals with other family members, are to consume more fruits and vegetables and eat breakfast. In the same study, adolescent boys who had better family functioning also had more frequent family meals, ate breakfast more often, and consumed less fast food. Schools also can play an important role in an adolescent's eating pattern. A study revealed that a comprehensive school intervention in the 4th and 5th grade resulted in increased vegetable consumption 2 years later. Many of today's adolescents virtually live on fast food meals, which contribute to the high fat levels in their diet. A longitudinal study revealed that frequent intake of fast food 3 or more times in a week increased the risk of health issues. Thus, it is very important to make adolescents understand that the food they take plays an important role in their life later on. Let us discuss about exercise. Physical activity needs in children and adolescents. Daily active play and physical activity have traditionally been an important part of life for children and adolescents. Today, computers and social media have decreased the need and desire for children to move and play. Participation in physical activity decreases with age and the decline is greater in girls than boys. The challenges associated with getting kids active every day should be met with age-appropriate physical activities, enthusiastic leadership, and support from family and friends. A sedentary lifestyle is recognized as a major risk factor for obesity and cardiovascular disease, that is, heart diseases. The prevalence of overweight and obesity among children and adolescents is a major public health concern, and weight-related health problems are being diagnosed earlier in childhood. Physical activity is learned behavior that is influenced by family, friends, teachers, and coaches, as well as the environment. Children and adolescents who are not exposed to confidence-building opportunities in their physical abilities earlier in life tend to be less active later in life. Movement skills such as running, jumping and throwing can serve as the building blocks for a lifetime of physical activity. Children who do not develop these skills early in life may be less likely to meet daily physical activity needs later on in their life. Physical activity benefits for children and adolescents. Regular participation in different types of physical activity is essential for healthy growth and development. Evidence shows that physical activity can have a beneficial effect on body composition, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, aerobic fitness, muscular strength, movement skills and bone health. Regular physical activity can also improve academic performance and promote feelings of well-being. The positive lifestyle behaviors such as participating in daily physical activity that begin during childhood and adolescence tend to carry over into adulthood. In the long run, daily participation in outdoor games, fitness activities and recreational sports will help to improve the health and well-being of all the children and adolescents. The natural activity pattern of boys and girls is characterized by short bursts of physical activity interspreads with brief rest periods as needed. Most children participate in physical activity to have fun, to make friends and to learn something new. While youth sports program can provide an opportunity for young athletes to be physically active, not all children enjoy intense competition, and some boys and girls may not be prepared for the demands of sports practice and games. Children and adolescents with poor physical fitness are likely to drop out of sports due to frustration, embarrassment or physical discomforts like pain or injury. Children and adolescents should enjoy the process of being physically active. Although the value of creative free play should not be overlooked, physical activities with competent and caring instruction provide a unique opportunity for children and adolescents to learn new skills, improve exercise technique and feel good about their accomplishments. Adolescent sleep patterns. According to the National Sleep Foundation, NSF, in 2016, adolescents need about 8 to 10 hours of sleep each night to function best. Most recent research on sleep in American poll conducted in 2006 indicated that adolescents between the 6th and 12th class were not getting the recommended amount of sleep. For the older adolescents, only about 1 in 10, that is 9%, get an optimal amount of sleep, and they are more likely to experience negative consequences the following day. These include feeling too tired or sleepy, being cranky or irritable, falling asleep in school, having a depressed mood, and drinking caffeinated beverages. Additionally, they are at a risk for substance abuse, car crashes, poor academic performance, obesity, and most importantly, a weakened immune system. But why don't adolescents get adequate sleep? In addition to known environmental and social factors including work, homework, media, technology, and socializing, the adolescent brain is also a factor. As adolescents go through puberty, their circadian rhythm or body rhythm change and push back their sleep time until later in the evening. This biological change not only keeps adolescents awake at night, it makes it difficult for them to get up in the morning. When they are awake too early, their brains do not function optimally. Impairments are noted in attention, behavior, and academic achievement, while increases in tardiness and absenteeism are also demonstrated. Psychologists and other professionals have been advocating for later school times, and they have produced research demonstrating better student outcomes for later start times. That is, school starting later in the day. More middle and high schools have changed their start times to better reflect the sleep research. Now, let us look at the main points related to adolescent sleep pattern. Teenagers need sleep to 1. Maintain a healthy body, 2. To keep their immune system working well, 3. Maintain good mental health, 4. Boost their energy levels, learning and concentration, store things in their long-term memory, Lack of sleep can make it harder for the child to behave well, regulate emotions, pay attention and do well at school, and also get along with others. Being tired all the time can even contribute to mental health issues like anxiety and depression. As we have discussed, most teenagers need 8 to 10 hours of sleep each night. Some need as little as 7 hours or as much as 11 hours. It is very common for children in the early teen years to start wanting to go to bed later at night and get up later in the morning. This is because they start to secrete melatonin later at night than they did in earlier childhood, which affects their circadian rhythms. Also, as their brain matures during puberty, children can stay awake for longer time. Good daytime habits can help teenagers get the sleep they need, especially as they get towards the later teen years. These habits can also help children avoid or sort out any sleep problems that come up. Waking, sleeping and napping routines. Encouraging the child to 1. Get out of bed when they wake up in the morning rather than staying in bed. 2. Spending the hour before lights out doing relaxing activities like reading a book, listening to music or having a warm shower or bath. 3. Keeping daytime naps to no more than 20 minutes and make sure the nap is in the early afternoon. This sleep environment encourages the child to avoid the use of any electronic device in the hour before bed, to put the electronic device in family rooms overnight. A quiet, dimly lit space is important for their good sleep. Let us discuss a few points on good health and nutrition. Feeling hungry or too full can make it harder to get to sleep. Natural light will help the body produce melatonin at the right times in the sleep cycle. Healthy breakfast helps the body feel ready for sleep at night. Avoid cold drinks before bedtime. It can be hard to determine the cause of teens' sleep problems, but talk with a family doctor if these problems with sleep continue for more than a couple of weeks. A doctor or a counselor can help teens find ways to deal with any stress that may be causing them to have a hard time sleeping. They may need to see a sleep specialist if poor sleep continues to affect their daily lives. A sleep specialist has the expertise to find the source of sleep problems in teens. He or she also knows what is needed to help teens begin to get the sleep they need. Let us summarize the session. The health aspect. Many of the behaviors that are linked to poor health habits and early death in adults begin during adolescence. Engaging in healthy behavior patterns in adolescence, such as regular exercise, helps to delay disease in adulthood. Important goals are to reduce adolescents' health compromising behaviors and to increase their health enhancing behaviors. Risk-taking behavior increases during adolescence and combined with a delay in developing self-regulation makes adolescents vulnerable to a number of problems. The developmental changes in the brain have recently been proposed as an explanation for adolescent risk-taking behavior. Let us discuss a little about nutrition, sleep and exercise. Special nutrition concerns in adolescents are eating between meals, the amount of fat in adolescents' diets and increased resilience on fast food meals. A majority of adolescents are not getting adequate exercise. At approximately 13 years of age, their rate of exercise often begins to decline. American girls especially have a low rate of exercise, and regular exercise has many positive outcomes for adolescents. It includes a lower risk of being overweight and higher self-esteem. Family, friends, school and screen-based activity influence adolescents' exercise patterns. So, sports play an important role in the lives of many adolescents.